We started looking at a referendum back in May of 2015. Our board passed a resolution to go to start that process on July 6th of 2015, and since then we've been looking for, or we've been doing a lot of educational type meetings, community meetings at different venues and different places, different times, different days throughout the couple months here since July 6th, trying to inform everybody as much as we can. We're asking for 19.63 cents on the tax rate, and that'll still keep us under 60 cents for our total school tax rate. This is an operating referendum. It'll include funds to offset, or funds to pay for our utility costs, our vocational costs, our special ed costs. Try to add some programs back that were cut 3 or 4 years ago in a RIF situation, and just kind of get us right as far as our financial picture.
What are some of those programs that you guys had to cut that you'd want to add back?
In the past, we cut our Family and Consumer Science in the middle school. We cut PBL, which is a project-based learning program, and we cut industrial technology, or SHOP, as you might call it, from our program over the last 3 to 4 years.
Why did those programs have to be cut?
We've lost some enrollment over the past few years. In fact, we've lost 26.5 on the average per year for the last 10 years. And so, since the money follows the student as far as educational funding goes, that also means we lose that much funding. And so when teachers retire, we didn't replace, or when teachers resigned, we didn't replace. And in one case, we just we went through a RIF in 2012, in the spring of 2012, and didn't replace those teachers either. We kind of see schools that have growing enrollment do get more money. In this funding formula, it seems to be more of the affluent type schools, suburban schools. But the rural and the urban schools didn't necessarily get that same amount of money. Again, it follows the student, so when we lose, we lose 15, 20, 30 kids, then we lose the amount of money attached to that too. And then on the other hand, when you see some of the suburban schools gaining 200 and 300 kids, then they get the money that goes with that. We have the same needs. We have the same great teachers. We have the same great programs. And if we do have to cut, we'll lose more programs. Our class sizes will go up. We've been rated. Our corporation's been an A-rated school in the past, and we've had 4-star schools. We've had a lot of different accolades, and we feel like we've got a good thing going here. But if we lose funding and we don't get referendum funding, then we would most likely have to cut some more programs, and class sizes go up.
And I saw something in the referendum also about like compensating teachers. I mean, these are basic needs for a school. Would you guys say you're like in a pretty tough spot right now, or? Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in. Our teachers haven't had a raise on their base salary since 2011. We've done stipends through some federal work or some federal grants, and then certainly the state stipend that comes out in December. We've given that when we've received that, but we haven't had a raise on their base salary since 2011. And so when you couple that with increased insurance costs and increased insurance premiums and just the cost of living that increases, they've actually gone backwards in their take-home pay. And so, while we don't want to make that the focus of our referendum, it's certainly part of it. So it would be like for bonuses and salary increases, not just to pay them in general, right? Correct. It would be negotiate if we do get a referendum, it has to be negotiated, and that negotiation window is August 1st of 2016 to September 30th of 2016. And so to say they will get X percent or X amount of money is a little premature, but that is part of our goal, is to compensate teachers that haven't had a raise since 2011. So part of the referendum also allow us to attract new talent when teachers do retire, resign, and move on. We can attract new talent, and we want the best people to work here. And in order to do that, we need to make sure our pay aligns with some of the other schools to make sure that they want to come to Fremont, and we can entice that talent to stay here. There were some rumors that we were going to close immediately and that kind of stuff, and that's not true. But ultimately, yes, that's kind of the purpose of the referendum, is to make sure not only we keep our doors open, but to make sure we continue to give our students and our community a quality product. If you guys don't have the referendum pass, what happens? We've got a contingency plan. We'll talk to the Board of Education about what will happen going forward. We'll probably have to institute some cuts immediately as far as what we can institute, and then after the school year, we'll institute the rest of what we need to do. So getting, I know you said you've had lots of public meetings, really made it a point to inform the public. What's your sense of their opinion? I mean, do you think it'll pass, or have there been a lot of?
I think people are educated, and I think that they will go to the polls and make an educated decision. We've kind of said that all along, that we want to make sure that whenever you vote, make sure that you vote with the knowledge that this will happen if you vote yes, and this will happen if you vote no. And I think people are at that point where they are educated enough to go to the poll and vote their conscience.
Have the meetings been pretty well attended?
Yeah, we've had a few at the beginning that maybe had 15 to 20. The last couple we've had have probably more in the 45, 50 range. The last two venues we've been at have been standing room only. People were out in the hallway listening to us. At one of the places, they were outside poking their head in the door trying to listen to us. So yeah, they've been very well attended as we get into this last few weeks.
And have you gotten a sense from the people that are against it what their reasoning is?
Yeah, we do have some opposition, and there's some signs out that say vote no. I think the one man came to the meeting with us, and he said that basically it was just that he was against taxes, and so just a tax increase, and that's kind of what everybody that's even said vote no has said we support the school, we want the best for our school, but we don't. This is just a tax thing. When we look at our tax rate is right now without the referendum is 39.24 cents on the rate just for the school. So if you add another 19.63, you're still under 60. We're the lowest in the area. We're one of the lowest in the state. We have a very high assessed valuation, over $1 billion, which helps us keep our taxes low. Our taxes actually dropped about 3 cents in 2015 compared to 2014. We're at about 42 cents, and now we're at 39. And so to say that our taxes are low, I would think would be an understatement. They're extremely low. The closest one around here to us is 55 cents. The closest school district to us is 55 cents. And so we're barely over that, even if we do pass a referendum.
If people vote yes,
yeah.
What are they voting yes to? What message do you want to send to them?
I think they're voting yes to keep their quality programs and the quality staff that we have at Fremont. I think they're voting yes to maintain what we are, the path that we're on, and then create new paths as well, as far as the future of education, some innovative ideas that the board has, that the superintendent has, to move forward in education, and to make sure that Fremont gets the best quality education for the graduates. As far as precedent goes, in 2008, 2009, with property tax reform and the funding formula changing over the course of a few legislative cycles, schools had to cut. Schools had to cut at that time and had to tighten their belt across the state. I think this is a new area for Fremont Community Schools, but I think in general, our superintendent likes to say that public education is in the fight for its life, as far as the competition with charter schools who are legally considered public education, but they don't follow a lot of the same rules that we do. I think they have, the competition with voucher schools, where tax money goes to fund private schools, and all of that gets siphoned off the top before we get any of it. We've talked to many people about our concerns with the way rural schools are funded, and the way charter schools are funded. We asked questions yesterday about charter school who gets almost twice what we get, and they've been rated an F the last 3 years. We've been an A corporation, and we get about half of what they get. And like I said, the superintendent likes to say that we're in the fight for our life as far as public education. It could be, it could be 2, 3, 4 years down the road or whatever. We've certainly talked about that, because if we don't get additional revenue and we can't pay teachers to stay, and we need to cut our expenses, at some point in time our programs get cut to the point where it's not feasible to have a quality program or a quality high school here, in which case we would ask that we could move to a neighboring district. And like I said earlier, every tax rate of every school around here has a higher tax rate than we do anyways. Yeah, you'd lose the history, you'd lose the pride. You'd also, we've talked to many people, many consultants that would tell us that individuals would lose value on their homes without a school here. Certainly every part of the community is necessary. The school, the utility department, the city, the town, the county. It's all necessary. But what we've been told is if the school goes away, that property values will go down. We realize this is about kids, and we just ask that that voters show up and vote, and whether they're for or against. We would just need to make sure that people show up and vote and make sure that they do their duty and represent their community.